welcome to the Anything Goes podcast. I am Kombat AllStar and...
What up, y'all? It's Random Girl. It's been a little minute. How y'all doing?
She hasn't missed a beat. Still cut me off to this very day.
That's right.
Yeah, she's been gone for a while. You guys know, the whole Kombat AllStar show thing. Mm-hmm. And like I said last podcast, I will have a conclusion to that. But tonight, or today, or whenever you watch, I'm going to be talking about Luke Cage. And Luke Cage is a series, he's
Luke Cage is awesome.
Comic book character. Just got a series on Netflix, and it's awesome. So, you want to share your thoughts first, and then I'll share mine, or
just let it roll natural, baby.
Well, all right. So
first, let me just say, Luke. I'm sorry.
I said, do you want to go first? Okay. And then you cut me off.
It hits me how it hits me. I'm sorry. It just comes naturally. Luke Cage is freaking awesome. We kind of binge watched. We watched one day. We watched about 3 or 4 one day, and then we just finished up watching the rest. It's freaking awesome. It'll have you hooked in the first minute that you start watching it.
And it's funny because when I first heard that they were doing Luke Cage, you guys all know, long-time listeners, I was not a fan of Jessica Jones. I barely got through the first one, and to me it was kind of not kind of, but to me it was just awful. It was god awful.
Yeah.
So I wasn't real stoked about Luke Cage. And I know a little bit about him, not too much. Just the little things that I've read from some of the Avengers comics that he was a part of. I never really got into Marvel Knights, but from what little I did know, to me he didn't seem like he would translate well to the page, especially in what was it? I think it was Civil War, because you had the Civil War comic, the main comic, and then you had a lot of side comics, and he showed up in a lot of the side comics. And that's where I learned the most about him. Mm-hmm. And to me, he just seemed like a regular dude. He didn't, especially amongst
not popular enough to be interesting, really, especially mainstream, really.
But not really powerful enough either. I mean, because the company he kept was the Avengers and the Hulk and stuff like that. And he's just he wasn't one of those standout guys compared to everybody else. But if he's fighting regular dudes, then yeah, he's gonna be awesome. So
okay. So anyway, enough of what Kombat said. Luke Cage is awesome. I didn't know much about him either, just bits and pieces. I think I saw him in a Marvel video game once, so I knew he always wore the yellow shirt, the chain.
No one cares about what you think, random girl. No one cares about what you think.
He had that big chain, right? He used to beat people with the chain. It was a big old chain, right?
I don't know. She's talking about Ultimate Alliance, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember him from there, so that's all I knew. But with this series, they definitely let you know all about him.
Yeah, and the one thing I really liked about this show, for me, I feel a lot of the Marvel stuff, especially the stuff that goes to Netflix, with the exception of Daredevil, because I thought Daredevil was awesome. And when I tell a story, I love stories, first of all. I love lore, I love the deepness of things, and I love a really, really good story. And the thing I hate the most when you're telling something deep and something in depth is filler. And I feel a lot of studios, a lot of companies have sex as filler or relationships as filler. And I always use the Expendables the first Expendables as a perfect example of having a love interest without having a love interest. And I like how with this movie, not that this, I felt like a movie, but with this TV show, you didn't get that. You had the love scene with Misty Knight and everything in the beginning.
Because it was needed.
It wasn't necessary, but it did help later on. You know what I mean? So when they had that scene together later, when he finally found out who she was able to get the cops away from Pop. So it helped. You know what I mean? It helped get the heat off of him. It helped get the cops out of the door so they could save Chico, who was hiding in the back. So it was cleverly done. Even though it was a small thing, it made a big deal in the show, and I didn't mind it much. And they didn't crutch on that. And a lot of shows, I feel crutches on that. Mm-hmm. That was one of the biggest things I liked.
For me, I like that it showed a lot of culture. The music, a lot of the artists that were on there.
That was the second thing that I liked.
Raphael Sadiq, they had Faith Evans. They had a lot of the old school people that were out from the 70s. So that's one of the major things. You got to really get a feel of Harlem and the people of Harlem. I don't know. It was awesome. It was genuine.
Yeah. And I liked about it too. It was you see a lot of things that are all black cast or all mostly black cast or whatever. I think the only white person in the movie was that lawyer that came later.
Oh yeah.
But when you have an all cast, it's very stereotypical, very Spike Lee, very down in the dumps, and our culture is a beautiful culture, and there was a lot of references to Malcolm X and Corpus Addicts, I think his name was, and just it was showing the beauty of it, but it was being real about it. Nobody in there I felt like was a stereotypical anything. They were like regular people.
Yeah, down to like the barbershop, with Pops, telling, the no curse jar and like the things that go on in barbershops and things like that. So it was really authentic to how,
beautiful black women who were actually smart, who were detectives and who were nurses, and it was refreshing.
It was a genuine feel.
Yeah, and lawyers. I mean, I felt like it was like black people being regular people. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
All walks of life.
You had the aspects, and then you have the good with the bad. So you have the hardworking, blue collar types. Yeah. Then you had the criminals, and then you had the lawyers and the cops. It was like all aspects of, the neighborhood.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was good.
Yeah, really, really well done.
Yeah, I was hooked since like the first episode. Like the writing was, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta watch more. I have to watch more. Like I've never seen anything like that, like this before. It's definitely hands down probably my second favorite TV show.
What's your first favorite TV show?
Impractical Jokers, of course.
Oh, that's not even a TV show.
So cute. Are we allowed to talk?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I mean,
it is a TV show.
I guess it's kind of just pranks, though. It's not really.
But it's a TV show.
But there's no writing. There's no cinematography.
But that's just my favorite TV show. Okay. I'm just being honest.
And that was another thing I really liked about it, the cinematography, how it was shot. You guys already know. I've already advertised it everywhere. Working on Rise of the Avalanche, and my cinematographer was big on shots.
Yeah.
And
shots, right? Angles and everything.
And this was really, really great. By the way, Random Girl is a part of that project too.
Oh, for sure.
Production manager, she's doing a great job. But every time I watched it, I felt like working on more stuff because it was beautifully shot. It told the story well. I got everything I needed to get out of it, and I didn't, you know what I mean? It felt so deep. I mean, I think the only scenes were like the club, Mariah's apartment, I think the precinct, and that was about it.
Okay.
In the barbershop. So there was only like 4 scenes or 4 locations in this whole thing.
In the prison as well in Georgia.
Well, okay.
That was
okay, so there are 4 main scenes and 1 scene that they used for 1 episode. But all through this thing, there was only 4 scenes, 4 locations, and I felt like I got a good taste of the entire city. I think I saw more of the city in the last episode when they were driving Luke Cage off, and he was kind of looking outside than any other time. But not for once did I feel like, it was small.
You were like, oh my gosh, not this scene again.
I felt like I just felt like it was big. I felt like it was. I felt like it was a real city. I didn't feel like, oh, we're only going to these 4 places.
Yeah, you feel like you got to know all of Harlem.
Yeah,
we did.
Kind of like Seinfeld. I felt like I was all over New York City. I felt like I was all over New York City when I watched like Seinfeld. But we were doing only like 3 locations. So it was like Jerry's apartment, which most of the time they were there. The diner, which they sat at and cracked jokes sometimes. And I think that was basically it. I mean, so
that's good directing, photography, and all that.
It's good storytelling.
Yeah,
it's just really, really good storytelling. So, who's your favorite part of it? Who's your favorite character?
I was gonna ask you that while you were talking. I was just thinking, like, oh, dang it, you made me forget. What are you gonna say?
I can tell you my favorite character if you want.
Who's my favorite character?
Yeah, who's your favorite character?
Who's your favorite character?
My favorite character is definitely Misty Knight. Just because.
She got on my nerves sometimes a little bit.
Well, first episode I didn't really like her because I didn't know much about her, obviously. But then as they build on her, and you create layers for the character. And the thing I liked about her the most was not only that she was strong, but she was smart. She was really a detective, putting the pieces together, and how they showed her like kind of reliving the scenes and all that. It was really cool. And I think she's for me, she's probably the most interesting character. It was cool to see everything through Luke's eyes, but like she drew me to her because she was just that awesome. I think, and it wasn't overkill. Yeah. What about you? Who's your favorite character?
I'm trying to think. I liked a lot of people.
I know you said you like Cottonmouth, you like Mariah.
I said he kind of got on my nerves, but I missed him.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil everything.
Well, I don't do spoilers. It's like if you're watching this show, you already seen Luke Cage. We're gonna talk candidly about it.
There's Luke Cage. There's Cottonmouth. I like Pops a lot.
Pops, yeah. Pop. Dude, I felt so bad when he died. Like, why did they have to do it?
I don't know. If I have to say, I probably have to say Pop, but he died in like the first few episodes. I probably have to say Mariah Dillard, Council Mariah Dillard, because she's crazy.
Because she's crazy, that's it?
Yeah. I don't know, well, first of all, Alfred Woodard plays her, and she's an amazing actress anyway, so I already fell in love with the character as soon as I saw. I was like, she's gonna kill this role, before I even knew who she was. But then, in the beginning, she's very interesting because she comes off, I already knew she was, crooked, because she's, a councilwoman, but then she's, in relations with Cottonmouth, right?
Yeah,
Cottonmouth is her cousin, but he's this crime lord, and he runs a club, and she's in dealings with him. He gives her money, and she seems clean on the outside, but she's really dirty.
She laundered money.
Yeah,
for him.
And then bits and pieces of scenes, she's they hint to. She's kind of out there, not really all together. So, yeah. She's interesting for me. I like her. She's a very complex character.
Right.
She's trying to be clean, but then she's corrupted at the same time.
And you know what? There was a lot of bad guys in this. I thought it was gonna be Daredevil was one main guy, Wilson Fisk was the one main guy. Yeah, there was a lot. Yeah. But there was a lot of bad guys in this. I kind of want to ask you who your favorite bad guy was, but I guess it would be Mariah probably.
My favorite. I was gonna ask you that too. Favorite bad guy.
Yeah, my favorite bad guy had to be Diamondback. You know what? It's okay. I'll answer. It's a kind of a two-part question deal. So my favorite bad guy was Diamondback because of how twisted he was and how skewed his perspective was.
He's still alive.
Anyway, that's my favorite bad guy. But I think the most interesting bad guy is Cottonmouth. I think he's more complex than anybody. I'm still not buying that his childhood made what he became. I think there's a lot of things that are missing. Maybe they didn't tell that story, or they're leaving it for another season or something. I don't know. But he's definitely the most interesting. The one that plays piano, that's really a good boy on the inside, does all this bad stuff and kind of enjoys it. He's just kind of, he's an interesting character. I don't know. I don't know what happened. If they wrote him intentionally that way. I kind of feel like the way that they wrote it and the way that we saw it, there was more to him, or he was meant to stick around a lot longer, but for some reason, maybe behind the scenes he didn't. That's how it kind of feels like to me, because I feel like they were kind of building somewhere, and then he just died,
Yeah. Well, I know he's the character, the actor. I know he's with House of Cards. I don't know if he's busy with that.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, but yeah, he's a lawyer or something on House of Cards. But I felt like because he was a main player, and then he just, the way he died was just rushed. He wasn't this small time street criminal. He was Cottonmouth. He had his club, everybody loved and respected him, and then he just dies. So what was I gonna say? You were talking. What were you talking about?
Yeah, I was talking about the most interesting bad guy.
But I do feel like they gave his backstory. I do feel like they gave him a backstory as to why he became that way, though.
Yeah, I do kind of. But they took stuff out. He was a kid, and then he shot his first person, and he was all nervous. How do you become a nervous kid that is forced to do this bad stuff to this confident bad guy who's all about doing the bad stuff?
Well, Mama Mabel was crazy anyway.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and so she seemed like she forced him into a life of crime. And at first, you're a good boy, you're nervous, you don't want to do it. But then with years and years of having to do it, he probably got a taste for it. There's nothing else. It was set in stone for him.
I guess so.
Yeah.
What about Shades? He was interesting.
I like Shades. Shades is a cool cat, man.
He was interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like he's always plotting, and he has a plot for a plot.
I feel like he's going to be around for a long time because he's very smart. He's
almost too smart for his own good. When he was in prison, he wasn't like that, though.
He was connected, too. He was talking to one of the...
Yeah, but he wasn't that bright. And now all of a sudden he comes out and he's like a mastermind. It's kind of weird. There's more to his story, I feel like, too.
I feel like Shades has always been a very intelligent guy. Even when he had that scene with... the guy... what was he? One of the top prison guards in the prison.
Oh yeah, one of the guards.
In Savannah. Yeah, he was like, "Don't forget who you're talking to." Then he turned around and said to the officer, "Don't forget who you're talking to," or something like that. So he seems like a very intelligent guy who has a lot of power and influence over people in a sneaky, manipulative way.
Yeah. And speaking of prison, I don't mean to shift gears, but dude, I don't buy that Reba story. That's another story I don't buy.
What do you mean?
She's all nice and everything and good to him, and all of a sudden she's doing this thing behind her back and there's no motive. I don't get that. And the guy was like, that was just her job. Just be like that to everybody. That's all well and good, but if you like somebody or you're in love with somebody, you marry somebody and you bring them home to Pops who didn't say anything and, all that, they talked about in the beginning of the show, it doesn't add up.
Wait. So because he said Reba was Pop's people. So he brought her to New York.
Okay, so remember in the beginning where Pops was like, when Reba came home with a convict husband, I didn't ask any questions, blah blah. And he mentioned when I also found out that person had abilities, I didn't ask any questions. Mm-hmm. So like, Reba was one of his kids, and how does one of his kids become a person that keeps secrets and does all this government experiments on people and has this program to kind of pick the best government experiment or person that would be good for them?
They might explain that, because remember she was saying she wasn't always a psychiatrist, so maybe she...
Yeah, it just, something doesn't add up. I mean, look at all the people that were kids that was with Pops that grew up, you know what I mean? You had Cottonmouth, we all know what happened with him. You had the lawyer, who's always trying to get coffee with Luke Cage. Then you had the detective, Misty Knight. I mean, it seems like his kids go to good places when they end up.
You know what? I have another question. How the heck did Shades make it all the way? Because he's a Harlem guy also. How did he make it all the way to Georgia as well?
Exactly. There's a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah, I mean, did he get transferred like all the way? No, that doesn't even make sense either. I don't know.
Well, they did talk about how he was somewhere, some prison. He got transferred to Georgia, big time Seagate. I guess because it's like Rikers Island with the water around it or whatever.
Plus, he got transferred. Okay,
that's what it seems like. But I mean, hinting to it and actually coming out and saying it are like two different things. Mm-hmm. So. There's a lot of things that I wish they would just come out and say.
They might say more, because sometimes they reveal things way later, so they might show more in season 2.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. It is great storytelling. So I mean, they did a great job, but there's a lot of small unanswered questions, especially at the end, where Copper, whatever the heck his name is.
Which one?
Coppermouth or Diamondback. When Diamondback, he want to call him Copperhead, like the guy from DC.
Oh, with the hairstyle.
He has a.
Oh, what he wears. Yeah,
just like a sneak or whatever. How did he get? Okay, so we know that he went to prison, but how did he end up in Seagate in that program? I know they wanted that to be like a cliffhanger for the next season, but I'm just, again, how did that happen? How did he make it all the way back to Georgia? Where he's from, and
I don't even know what happened with that, because it seemed like the doctor snuck into the hospital somehow. It seemed like they were still in New York.
Really?
That's what it seemed like to me. The cops were just outside the door watching him, and then the doctor looked all sneaky when he was going inside the room. It looked like they were still in New York to me.
And why would cops bring him there? I mean, the whole thing was it was the warden that set up this whole program. So how does a Georgia warden end up with a guy in New York and getting him for the program? It doesn't.
Yeah, they explain that he could still be in New York, and the doctor somehow made his way to New York. We don't know.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Lots of unanswered questions, but Reba,
they'll answer it all, I think.
I hope so.
Season 2.
Because I mean, like shows like Breaking Bad, they had everything wrapped up in a nice bow by the end. There were no unanswered questions, no holes or anything.
Yeah, everything's just like magnificent.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, there's a lot of loose ends. I mean, obviously they're planning for a season 2, and I know it did well. Mm-hmm. Everyone seems to love this thing like as much as we did, Mm-hmm. So everyone's talking about it. Everyone loves the show. So I'm hoping we get some more information on the next season.
Okay.
So, anything else to add to our synopsis?
No, towards the end of the episode, it's from what I could tell, it seemed like Claire. What did she say? I don't want to even mention that. With the Cuban coffee, she said. But no, it was all right.
What is it with this coffee?
I don't know.
Everybody wants to go get coffee.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So it seems like Claire's gonna take up some more fighting, because she's a tough. We didn't even mention Claire. Claire's freaking awesome too.
Yeah, she is.
At first, I didn't know how I felt, and if you guys didn't know, she was on Daredevil. She's the love interest, and she was also the nurse, right?
Yeah.
She helped.
Also, Matt Murdock's love interest / nurse.
Matt Murdock.
Yeah, that's Daredevil.
That's what I said.
Yeah. So also that on that show, and then now she came over to here.
So at first I was like, what? What the heck is freaking Rosario Dawson? What is she doing over here? Just stay. What are you doing?
Well, in Daredevil, she did say she was going to leave Hell's Kitchen because it's too crazy and go to where her mom will for a little bit.
Yeah, but that's how I felt. Cause I was like, I don't like when even if you're in the same location, I don't like when too many people. I don't like when characters like intermingle with each other. I like things to be separate. It just feels cheesy to me.
They're all in the
so
same
that's
city.
how I felt.
Yeah.
But stay in Harlem. Harlem stays in Harlem, and then you stay in Hell's Kitchen. But then when first episode when I was like, what the heck is she doing? Go back. But then when I saw her more, I was like, okay, I like her over there. Now it feels like she's a part of the show. So.
Yeah. So it'd be weird to see her back and forth, but maybe she'll just be the doctor
for a little bit.
Because we know that the Defenders are coming out, and if you guys don't know, that's a show that's going to have all the. It's going to have Luke Cage, Jessica Jones. Daredevil, Punisher. They're all going to be in this one show called The Defenders. Kind of like what DC is doing with Legends of Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing the same exact thing. So they're kind of, maybe she's that person that ties everybody together. Like,
she is,
like how Nick Fury tied everybody together and all the...
and she did state that she wanted to help heroes with abilities. So that would make sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's well, I guess we'll see what happens. You know, I don't like that she's why can't she just go someplace and just be herself?
Yeah, I was like, why she gotta hop on everybody? Like, what's going on? You know, she's with Daredevil and then she's with...
I like superhero coffee.
I was like, what the heck? Just keep it together.
Yeah. So.
Rosario Dawson. But anyway, you know, I love the show a lot.
I did too. I liked it a lot. So.
Yeah, you guys will be hooked. What did you think about the show?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're listening to this, you don't care. Either you watched it or you didn't. But what do you think about the show? What do you think about the characters? Did you like the show?
The show was awesome. You know what? I think we should watch it all over again. Me and Carver are gonna watch it all over again.
Watch it all over again.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody dislike this show at all. So
everybody liked it.
It's
and if they didn't like it, I killed them. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So comment below.
No.
And as always, like, subscribe, share. And until next time, y'all. And I'm sorry, Atomic Cast. I couldn't do Atomic Cast last week.
Yeah, we're busy.
But you know,
we're like fishing.
Like I told you guys, filming this TV show, or not TV show. Filming this movie is taking a lot out of me. I'm tired, and I'm doing the best that I can. I will continue to provide content. We'll keep that promise, like I said last show. But it may be a little slow going, so bear with me, stick with me, watch my stuff, like, subscribe, share, and until next time.
Peace out, folks.
So long.
Boom, boom.